The Path to Authenticity is brought to you by GIA Miami. Founded by world-class mental health experts, GIA provides advanced care for difficult-to-treat conditions, including anxiety, medication-resistant depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Using state-of-the-art methods, GIA can help people recover from conditions when more traditional approaches can't. Dr. Antonello Bonci has assembled an expert team serving international clientele in a modern and resplendent Miami setting. If you or someone you love is suffering from depression, anxiety, OCD, or other mental health concerns, call GIA at 833-713-0828. You can learn more about GIA by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting giamiami.com.
Thank you for listening to The Path to Authenticity. My name's Tom Gentry. I think of this show as the opposite of small talk. You'll hear real conversations with real people who know who they are. We talk about what makes them who they are, how they became who they are, and how we might become truer expressions of who we are.
I'm Elena Øhlander, and this is The Path to Authenticity.
If this is your first time here, thanks for checking it out. If not, thanks for coming back. I'm Tom Gentry, and this is The Path to Authenticity, episode 186 for August 2nd, 2022. And this episode features a conversation I had with friend of the show, Elena Øhlander, who is a mixed media illustrator, graphic artist, living in Jacksonville, Florida. She was the guest of episode 94 back in November of 2020. And I went over the 20 questions with Elena about 6 or 8 months ago on Instagram. We did this as an Instagram live and recorded it. So Elena is one of those people who, you know, I've said over and over again with this podcast, what I appreciate about it the most personally is the people it's given me an opportunity to connect with. And Elena's just, she's really cool. And I enjoyed having this conversation with her and each one I've been able to have. I'll leave a link in the bio so you can check out her work. And here you go. I hope you enjoy it. Elena Øhlander. If your life were a novel, what would be the title?
Wishing she was vegan, but could never do it.
Wishing she was vegan. Well, are you holding out hope?
I like to incorporate more vegetables into my diet. So that's kind of like for all health reasons why I would like to do it. But I don't know. Meat has been so ingrained into my whole life that to like not eat it feels like, what do I eat if I'm not eating meat? Like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But outside of health reasons, probably, I think about those sweet cows.
Oh yeah.
And their sacrifice. I do think about it for sure.
Yeah. Well, if you think about the trauma that they undergo and then their endocrine system and how it affects, and then we ingest that, that trauma. It's crazy.
Yes.
But we don't think about any of that. We just eat it.
No. And also environmental impact, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Where were you born?
Duluth, Minnesota.
And where do you call home?
Currently Jacksonville, Florida.
Currently.
Mm.
Currently, which tells me that you have plans and schemes, right? Is there somewhere you'd rather be?
Um, yeah, I think that I I love Jacksonville. It's been my home for such a long time. I love Florida as a whole. Maybe not like all the Florida man and Florida woman stories, but like the things that happen outside of that.
Yeah.
Like I like the environment in terms of like weather.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and the warmth, but I always kind of saw myself somewhere else, but I don't have like an exact destination. I think I would find it when I got there.
What's the weather like there?
78 degrees all the time.
Okay. San Diego.
Okay,
Something
there we
like
go.
that. Yeah. Okay. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wish that I could say that I wanted to be an artist when I grew up, but honestly, I wasn't sure if I'd live past 24. So,
Wow. What was it about 24?
I don't know. I think there's something about that age. I just thought probably I might not make it that long based on like my lifestyle and the things that I was doing, or kind of where I saw my path going wasn't necessarily a good outcome.
Collision course.
Yeah. It turned around.
Obviously, you're here.
I'm still here. So, yeah. I mean, I made it past 24. So, you know, that's already a huge achievement.
So, but was there anything else you envisioned at all or no?
Outside of that, I think I would food related.
Maybe be a chef.
Yeah, maybe be a chef, or maybe be like a restaurateur, or like there's something about that hospitality industry that I feel very connected to.
Okay. What is your profession?
I am an artist.
Well, I know you're an artist. I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for the audience.
Yes, yeah. I am a visual artist working in the medium of mixed media illustration, and sometimes I make murals.
And you're also a photographer, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I don't really think about myself as one so much anymore. But it is a part of who I am and the way I see the world, for sure.
And then, aren't you in school again? Did you go back to school?
Yeah, somewhere in there, I lost my mind and figured that school sounded like a great thing to incorporate into my already loaded schedule.
And so what's that look like?
It looks like I was really enjoying it for the first 6 weeks, except for the fact that I had some health issues that manifested, and then ended up missing too much school. So the best course of action, since they wouldn't accommodate for like remote learning, I've had to take a medical leave. So stay tuned for the spring.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. And I'm glad you're feeling better.
No. Thank you.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Other than my own. And maybe other than being a chef? No, it would be chef. It would be chef.
It would?
It would be chef. Yeah, I definitely want to cut my fingers up in the kitchen. That's goals.
Well, you got those new you got those new professional photos and you kidded around
Oh,
about
yeah.
being a real estate agent. Remember you said I look like a real estate
Yeah.
agent, those are great photos, like great,
They're really
like
wonderful photos.
they're so good that the look on your face that she captured is just perfect. You know? And
Yeah.
I've actually thought about, man, I should go to Jacksonville and have that person take my pictures.
I'm so grateful. But I do want to say that real estate is booming right now. So actually, it wouldn't be a bad thing to maybe get into that market.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see where you could do pretty well for yourself. Okay, what's your favorite quote?
Oh, quote? Yeah. I could always paint like the masters, but it took my whole life to learn to draw like a child.
Is that Picasso?
And that's paraphrasing. Yeah. Picasso.
Yeah. What is your preferred form of creative expression? So this is obviously a little redundant with you, but maybe you can tell me what else besides photography and visual art you like to do.
Oh, in terms of a self-expression?
Yeah, I guess for me, like I write. So sometimes using some other sort of artistic medium kind of feeds my creativity, just to try something else now and then. And for me, usually it's like a collage or something like that.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah. So do you have anything like that?
I low-key love to sing a cappella.
Low-key?
Yeah. Because I'm not doing that
You
all
love
the time,
to sing
but...
a cappella, but you don't love to tell people about it. Is that what it is?
Kind of, yeah. Like I share sometimes a little bit of my karaoke voice, but I do sing quite a bit, and we'll even make up funny little parodies to songs based on something I'm doing. Like if I'm cooking, I'll come up with something on the fly. Or if someone uses a word, then I'll sing that song, like that has the same word in the song, which can be annoying to some people.
I imagine. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, my go-to is usually something very emotional, like Adele or Mariah Carey.
Okay. Awesome. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Well, that's a hard one. Only one?
No, you can say 3 if you want. How many do you want? We have all night.
Let's see. I'd say I really enjoy Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. For so many reasons, it's mostly visually related. I like The Cell. It has Jennifer Lopez in this movie, but there is like famous artist who is referenced throughout the dreamscapes in one of the main characters' dreams or nightmares.
Okay.
And maybe anything Tim Burton I like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. Do you have a favorite song?
That's a hard one. Do I have a go-to song? I like 90s hip hop, honestly. Like I listen to that very often. People Under the Stairs?
Okay, I don't know about that. Who is that? Is that a song title?
No, that's like a group.
A group? Okay. Yeah, see, I feel super lame right now. Like I should be more cool. I should know more.
There's so much music out there.
No,
so
I know.
I don't expect everyone to know.
It's really amazing how much, that's one of the cool things about this time in history that musicians and visual artists too, I guess, there's so many ways to get your work out there. It's just unbelievable, right? So,
That's
I mean,
so
look at me,
true.
a podcast. Like, who would have ever, I grew up with an AM radio or an FM radio where I was recording songs with a cassette tape, waiting for them to come on, So,
Press record.
yeah. Try to get it perfectly so you didn't miss the beginning of it,
I
Okay.
love that.
Favorite work of art?
Oh, favorite work of art. It has to be, there's so many, but I'm going to go with Guernica, also by Picasso.
There's a lot going on in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
enormous too, if I remember right. It's like really, really big. We see in books where is that? Do you know?
I think it is in Spain,
Is it?
think, right now. I think it will remain there.
So you're a Picasso fan.
Yeah.
Well, I know you mentioned Shepard Fairey before, that you like him a lot. Yeah.
I do. Yeah. There are so many that I respect and admire. And a lot of it, there is this kind of dichotomy between like light and dark. And I think I'm very attracted to that narrative in the work, but also like its visual representation in the work.
Okay. Here at the local art museum, they're doing a Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera show for like a couple months. Yeah. I tried to go on Sunday.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The Norton, which is like, I think it's the largest art museum in the state.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know this either.
It's a nice museum.
News.
It is. Yeah. Well, when you pass through the next time.
Yeah, I may pass through actually on my way back from Miami.
It'll still be going on. I think it's going on until the first of the year. Yeah.
Is that ticketed or like
it is?
You have to stand in line?
Well, you have to buy them online, reserve spots online. And I went on to do it Sunday. They had one spot left. Then I got a call or something, and by the time I got back to it, it was gone. So, but I wasn't like I planned ahead. I was doing it all at the last minute. But yeah, I definitely want to get over there for that. So, okay, who do you admire most?
Who? It may sound strange, but I admire my daughter a lot. Yeah. I mean, for example, the other day she was in volleyball team and the season ended. And coming up is the opportunity to try out for soccer season. Since they are separate seasons, she could, try out. But she contemplated for a long time. And then she said, I don't think I'm going to do it because I want to have balance. And I was thinking, who are you?
Right.
Because like, I don't have balance in my life. So like, I need to take some life lessons from you and prioritize, my time in a balanced way. So like, I admire her a lot.
Yeah. My son and I were out at the mall one time, and I think we were in Build-A-Bear or something. And the clerk was like, it freaks me out now. High school kids are closer to his age than my age, So he is in high school now, but this was a few years ago. But, so they were talking, and she asked him what he wanted to do. And he said, I want to work on Broadway. I said, wow. And which I, wasn't surprised, but I asked him about it. And I said, so you said you want to work on Broadway? And he said, yeah. I said, you didn't say that you wanted to act on Broadway. You said you wanted to work on Broadway. And he said, yeah, well, I figure that's a good goal, whether it's acting or whatever. I just want to be on Broadway. And I thought, how smart is that,
Oh,
It
I
really
love
just
that.
no, but I knew you when you said this is going to sound strange that you were going to say your daughter, but I can totally relate. Well,
Okay, that's
kids are
good.
they it's like, do you know the band Porno for Pyros? Do you know Perry Farrell?
No.
You know who Perry Farrell, the Jane's Addiction guy, Perry
Yes.
Farrell. He's the one who started the Lollapalooza thing. Well, he had a band called
Okay.
Porno for Pyros. They made like 2 records, but on one of them is a song called Pets.
Okay.
And it starts out saying, children are innocent.
Mm.
Teenagers are fucked up in the head. Adults are even more fucked up. And elderly are like children. You know?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and, it's like the older we get, the closer we get to the beginner's mind. Children are pure. They're not distorted by all the bullshit from society, right? So
Truth.
there's
Truth.
there's plenty of reasons to admire young people, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not one of these people who, what's the world coming to? I just think that's the lamest thing anyone could ever say.
Yeah,
Kids are,
I
it's
agree.
getting better. It's getting better. I believe that. Okay. Over the course of your life, what is an
Mm.
issue with which you have repeatedly struggled?
Oh, an issue with which I've struggled. There are so many. Which one do I choose to discuss in this moment?
Whichever one you're most comfortable. Which first one that comes to mind? I don't know.
Let's see. An issue. I think one of the most prominent ones is healing from emotional, verbal, and sexual abuse. Like that is absolutely it. And I kind of put them all together in one because it's like they're all connected into like how I shaped or formed relationships, interpersonal relationships, but also like my intrapersonal relationship. So like being able to heal from that is like a daily thing.
Yeah.
And I imagine it will be a lifelong journey.
Well, it sounds like you've done a lot of work. If you're talking about the intrapersonal relationship, that's not just something somebody comes up with on their own, But
yeah.
But it's so, our relationship with ourselves is really the template for every other relationship we have, right? It really is.
Absolutely.
That's something I've been focused a lot on in the last couple of years. And also have, am on a lifelong journey of healing, not all the same stuff that you're talking about, but, definitely parts of it. And, if we don't deal with it, it just, it controls everything.
Yes.
There's a Carl Jung quote where he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate, which I really believe,
Yeah.
It's been my experience, definitely. Okay, shifting gears here, a little fun. In childhood, who was your celebrity crush?
Childhood celebrity crush? You're gonna laugh. Okay, the laugh. Anderson Cooper.
Really? What? I'm not laughing. You're laughing.
I love that.
What
Like
is it
I
about
still
him?
have I'm giggling because I still have like this childhood crush on him when I see him on television. And I think there is something so fascinating. Outside of like his family and the Vanderbilt connection with his mother and like all of that, I think I would see him on television and, the things that he was willing to talk about that I felt like maybe other news reporters would tiptoe around. Like that was really powerful. And then like inserting himself into situations that may have been dangerous, physically and otherwise. And then admiration. But I'm sure that somewhere in there, based off of our age difference, like I probably have some daddy issues, like but
You don't have to pathologize it. It's okay. You like Anderson Cooper.
But
yeah.
That's who was my celebrity crush.
Well, he's a really likable guy. He is. And you know that that quality of him going out and covering stuff that's dangerous. I mean, there used to be so much more of that in the media.
Right.
And really that changed after the first Persian Gulf War, because they were all there then. After that, everything changed. Yeah. So, yeah, I admire Anderson Cooper. I don't have a crush on him, but it's great. That's a good answer. Not what I would have expected. What historical figure would you most like to meet?
Oh, wow. Probably Baudelaire.
Okay.
Feel like
we talked about this before. I haven't
Baudelaire?
read any of that. Yeah. I haven't read anything of his. What is it?
I think that as a critic, he feels like very abrasive and honest. And I would just love to have a conversation with him in the time period that he's alive to discuss art at the time. I don't know. I feel like if he were here today and like utilize the same, like whatever his approach is to criticizing art, and applied it to today with all of the new modalities in which we communicate, including like VR and NFT and AR, I would be curious what he has to say. So like that's where I'm at.
I think about sometimes I wish Kurt Vonnegut was alive.
Ooh,
and
that's a good one.
I wish Hunter Thompson was alive so that we could hear what they would have to say about what's going on in this country right now. I would love that,
I wouldn't be short of entertaining, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit too honest, maybe.
Well, definitely Hunter S. Thompson, but Kurt Vonnegut was just, I wish I had an opportunity to hear him speak before he passed, but, amazing guy. All right. What natural gift or ability would you most like to possess?
I think to have like physical endurance. I think I would like to have more of that
what would
as
you
a
do
natural
with that?
gift.
What would you do?
I would lift all the things, like, 20 bags of groceries on both arms and like, what?
You just want to be stronger? Because you could be stronger.
Yeah, but like I would have to work very hard to be able to do that, like that's like not a natural thing to me. Like
working out.
I think some people have a physique that's like naturally they're born like quite lean or but I might be slender but no strength. Like I cannot hold my head over a bar and stay there for a long time.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. I don't know. A lot of times people have answered they'd like to be able to be in two places at once.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'd like to be
that's
invisible.
valid.
They'd like to be invisible. That would be interesting, right? Invisible.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah.
I would want to do those things as well. But for some reason, maybe it's because I'm lacking strength recently that I was like, when you don't have it and you've lost it with my health stuff recently, like I was thinking, gosh, what if I lost these abilities?
Yeah.
I would like to have just being able to function on the normal everyday task is
Yeah.
like difficult.
Mortality. That's what we're talking about.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Being able to fly would be pretty cool too. You got to
Ooh,
that would be a
yeah.
good one. Yeah.
I mean, as long as I can fly, but then I have like super strong skin because, what if a bug hits my face or,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'd have to, need some kind of windshield, definitely.
like some kind of like barrier of protection.
Right. Okay. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement. I don't want to sound cliche, but it is still my daughter. I feel like I only have one child. I'm sure that my love would only multiply rather than divide if I had more one day. But yeah, I feel like she is so much more than I could have anticipated or imagined. And I wish I could be there for her whole life so I could see it all unfold,
Yeah. It's a beautiful experience, isn't it?
Yeah, like I get emotional.
Yeah. Well, they're our greatest teachers if we allow them to be. And I think too many parents look at it the other way around. When, I mean, even like my issues, the people we love, that's when they all come to the surface, right? They push our buttons. So even from that point of view, just I've learned so much from my relationship with my son. And I'm sure you can probably say the same. All right.
Yeah, I totally can.
Yeah. What quality do you admire most in a person?
Qualities in a person. I think honesty is like, whether that means like being honest with yourself, like knowing your own boundaries and your own, being able to see others, mindfulness. Like I think those qualities are really, they extend into lots of other qualities. That's kind of how I
like
see
the
honesty and mindfulness.
Essential qualities, honesty, kindness.
Yeah.
What's something you'd like to learn about?
Something I would like to learn about? This conversation about uploading our consciousness and being able to kind of live on forever. I would love to do that because there's nothing in this world that I wouldn't want to learn or know. And I feel like there's so much in history or, that like to go back and learn that I just don't have enough time in my lifetime, my life expectancy to read all the books I want to read or to, So I am always thirsty for knowledge. If I try to choose one specific thing, I guess it would be another language that's so different from my native tongue that whether that's the writing system as well as like how I'm able to make enunciate things. I think I would love to learn another language that's totally different. Trying to think of an example, like Thai or Vietnamese.
Japanese and English, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself super proficient in Japanese language, but I have like kind of basic fundamental understanding.
So what would be what you would choose another Asian language? Probably.
Probably, but I don't want to omit the rest of the world. There's so many like languages out there. But when I listen to someone from like Laotian or Thai or Vietnam, there's like these sounds that are so interesting to me, and then to look at their written language and try to decipher. I kind of feel the same way about Arabic. There's like this melodic something happening, and I want to know.
You want to tune into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. I was talking to a friend last night about, how when Asian people come to this country, they often take English names because the language is so foreign to us that we couldn't even begin to pronounce their name.
Yeah.
So they just,
I think,
I'll just take an English name so I don't even have to mess with it. Right. That's what happens.
I think that there's so many layers to it. It's not just about pronunciation. I think it's also like assimilating,
right. Yeah.
So it's like a 2-part
that too.
thing.
Yeah. Which has to be extraordinarily difficult. I think most Americans, we don't think about what that's like, we take it for granted. Okay.
Sure.
What do you wish more people knew about you?
About me?
Here's your chance. Yeah.
That I really appreciate when people give me their time. That could be opening up to me, and then knowing that what they share with me is in confidence. That, I'm not the type of person that would like share someone's private information with someone else. Like, what exchange happens between me and another is meant for that space. And if they wanted to share their information, that they would do it themselves with another person. So like, I hold that kind of like sacred space, and I really value the time that people give me. Yeah.
I love that. I do too. What's your idea of success?
Success. I think for me, success is seeing that other people are inspired by either my work or my life story or the words that I've been able to share. I think to me that inspiration passed on to someone else to like pursue their calling that's it for me. Like, that's success. Like, I have done something in this life that I really would want to do, like so meaningful.
Yeah, that feels really good. That's one of the things that has come from this podcast, is that, certain people have watched me do it. It was something that didn't exist. And then all of a sudden, here I am 150 episodes later. And I've had people say to me, I saw you do that. And I just thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And they went and did what they wanted to do. And that's the whole point of having the podcast in the first place, to inspire people to go be who you want to be, do what you want to do. So that's great. I love that. All right. This is the last question.
Oh.
What would you like people to say about you when you're gone?
Oh, gosh. Speaking of mortality.
Right.
Gosh. That I made an impact, like a positive impact in this world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really it. Like,
Well, we can already say that, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know, but I hope that's something that I'm doing with the short time that we're given, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've observed that. I mean, if nothing else with your artwork, you know? I mean, you definitely have a message, right? What is your message for your artwork? What would you say?
My message, I think I want people to really find that thing that they're meant to do in their life that brings them deep joy, and that that also brings other people joy, because I think joy and happiness are a great place to come from when you're, resonating energy out into the world, whether the catalyst for it was something positive or negative. It's about what the output is. And so I think that's, I hope that the end result, if that's like empowerment to, pursue that thing, and then thus, you know, inspire others. Like it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
To me, that's like amazing.
When did you know that that was important to you, inspiring others or helping others?
I think once I got past the anxiety of vulnerability, and I got past this space of like, what am I doing? And why am I doing it? I still ask that question, but it's more refined than rather being so vast of a question. I think I realized it a few years into making art for a living, and realizing that it's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about showing up every day, even if the work isn't necessarily making something, the work still happens in other capacities. It's not always like producing a physical thing. So yeah, I think I realized it a few years in, and I said, wow, there's an opportunity here, because what drives me to do what I do may look a little different than what drives someone else to do what they do, but my story could inspire others, or my work and the energy that I'm putting out there could inspire others to do that thing that they also feel compelled to do,
Yeah. So I don't know. I always knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know what that meant. I think probably by the time I was 15, 16 years old, I mean, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to help people somehow.
Yeah,
And
I think that makes sense.
yeah, and I mean, for me, the why over the years has become pretty easy to answer, but the how is what changes, the delivery. Like this podcast thing, I would have never, not really, I wouldn't have never really imagined.
Guessed.
Yeah, no, it just kind of came out of nowhere and almost an afterthought. And, because I've always written, so I did this to build an audience.
Right.
But I love this. So
do you make time for writing?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You do.
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. At least If nothing else, I'm journaling every
Okay.
day. Yeah.
Hmm.
And sometimes something comes from that and sometimes it doesn't, but I like creative nonfiction. That's the kind of
Okay.
stuff I write. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so interesting. Hmm.
But I like this, I like talking to people. I like talking to people one-on-one like this. The crowd thing, I can talk in front of a group of people, but like, in gatherings, like group gatherings, that's just not my, I don't know. How about you? What are you like socially?
I think that I am mostly inclined to have an intimate conversation like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that perhaps over the years working in the service industry as a bartender, I was able to kind of create almost like a persona or kind of come out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a part of who I am, but it's not really exactly the most comfortable thing for me to do, to talk to a lot of people at one time or like have a lecture like that, even on that level outside of like a small group setting. But I definitely feel like I need some kind of substance to calm my nerves to be able to do that, to like almost to perform. And so I try not to lean into that so much in the last few years. Like, I don't need those things to be able to do XYZ. I can overcome that through like confrontation, like expose myself to that like little by little over the time, and then I'm gonna be just fine. But the pandemic happened, so the opportunity to do that became less.
Right.
And so a lot of the conversations or artist talks or panel discussions have been virtual. So in a way, I am like so grateful, but also like it kind of interrupted the progress that I was having in terms of, that process.
Yeah. I went to a networking function today for the first time in probably at least a year.
Oh my goodness.
At least since
How was
last
that?
spring. It was good, but I got butterflies on my way. And, it was the first time I'd done anything like that in a while. And I knew I was going to meet people who I didn't know. And, I'm more of an observer of those conversations than someone who engages, you know what I mean? But
I do.
But, yeah, I'm pretty introverted, but I will say this whole authenticity thing, the more I've worked on being increasingly true to myself, the more comfortable I am in any element. I've like been able to, it's just easier, I don't know. You're an introvert probably, right? Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, same. I kind of conditioned myself to be able to socialize on a more outward way. But it definitely doesn't feel like it comes natural to me, like at all.
Yeah. I really have to feel connected to somebody, If I don't, it's just like, I don't even want to bother,
That should be your Tinder profile.
Okay.
I really have to
let me write this down. I didn't see that coming. No, it's okay.
No, but I love that. I love that you have to feel connected, because I feel same way. I really have to be connected to the content of what I'm discussing. I have to be connected to the audience, the people, whether that's one person or a small group or a large group. I think you're right. Having that thing that connects us all in the room is so important.
Yeah, and I there has to be meaning for me. That's pretty important too. So what do you think of this whole experience? Have you enjoyed this?
Yeah, I like it very much. It's like just natural conversation and well curated questions.
You like the questions. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were fun. And I think that participants can decide, how much they're willing to reveal about themselves. They weren't like prying into my life, but they weren't like, superficial either,
Well, that's kind of what I was going for.
Oh, great.
They generate conversation too, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like cut and dry. It was definitely like, oh, there's something interesting about you that I just learned, and now I want to know more.
Right.
And you're like calling people in. And I like that. That's nice. It feels organic.
Yeah, good. All right, there you go. Another episode in the books. Thanks for listening. You can learn more about the show and this episode's guest at thepathtooauthenticity.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Every little bit helps. I want to thank the band Punk Rock Opera, whose music you hear throughout the show. Their songs are used with permission from the artist and under a Creative Commons license. If you're so inclined, check out the Patreon community. As soon as I do these interviews, I upload them to Patreon, where the content is only available to patrons, and for just a couple bucks a month. I usually post audio content, their exclusive audio content, probably 8 times a month, if not more. And as these new episodes are released, as soon as they're done, they're available to patrons. So sometimes that might be 2 weeks before an episode is released, or even longer. Usually it's a few days. Anyway, if you want to support the show, that's a great way to do it. So thanks again for investing your time. It's a big deal to me. Thank you for supporting me and supporting the show. I hope you keep coming back. Be nice.
That's our story. I hope you enjoyed the punk rock opera. And we have one last piece of music for you. It goes like this.
Okay, go. break us, we will not fall. We are the bad plans, man, we got our ears pressed to the wall. You wanna take, you wanna break everything that you can't stand. You cannot break us, you cannot make us, we are the Jedi man. Cheat, you wanna stop, you wanna tear us down. We are the bad plans, man, we got our roots stuck in the ground. Generation, self-made bands. We cut our teeth with bloody hands. The rage has instilled in us. Can feed a crowd, give them a rush. Thank you. Good night.